Welcome to another exciting episode of Young Farmer. My name is Tashlin Lowe. Today, we're joined by an inspiring young farmer, Lesego Mohube, from Johannesburg South. At just 24 years old, Lesego is already making a name for herself in the agricultural industry as a vegetable farmer, specializing in pepper production, tomatoes, carrots, onions, and cabbage. She supplies fresh produce to the Johannesburg market under the RSA Group. Her journey into agriculture began in 2022 when she enrolled at the Potchefstroom College of Agriculture, where she found inspiration in her lecturer, Mrs. Mogotsi. Through her work, Integrated Learning, WIL, she gained invaluable experience training with farmers in the Eastern Cape and Johannesburg. This led her and her business partner, Bokang Monareng, to start their own farming venture, learning through hands-on experience and growing into successful emerging farmers. We're thrilled to have her on the podcast today to share her journey, challenges, and future plans. Lesego, welcome to the Young Farmer podcast.
Thank you for having me here today.
Lesego, your journey into agriculture is incredible. From studying at Potchefstroom College of Agriculture to graduating with a diploma in mixed farming, please do tell us about yourself and the backstory of your passion in farming.
I'm originally from the Northwest Province, a small town called Klerksdorp. I was then taken to my grandmother. Then after that, I started my educational journey back in Klerksdorp. So I moved from Mafikeng then to Klerksdorp. So I've been a very loud person, always out there, get going. But I never thought that I'd ever fall in love with agriculture. Initially, I wanted to become a nurse through my cousin. I have two cousins who are nurses, and I just wanted to be like them, the way they carried themselves in the nursing uniform. But then I had to unfortunately take 2 gap years because I couldn't get into tertiary. Then I saw a friend by the name of Bazika had posted Potchefstroom College of Agriculture that they're registering actually the following day. That time I'm not even a late applicant, I'm not even applicant at all. So we had to go, and then when I got there, through the assistance of a lady named Bonolo, she made sure that the process of me registering was quite smooth, because I remember I was like, hi, and she's like, hi, and she's like, give me your documents, I'll fix them, and she made sure that she fixed them in that moment. And if it wasn't for her, I don't think I'd even be having an agricultural journey. And then through that, I started attending AFGRI through Meso Simatla, and then through that, I now started doing short courses in AFGRI. From short courses in AFGRI, then she introduced me to AFASA. I started attending AFASA Northwest. That's where I met Mr. Apani and I met Mr. Naptali. And then after meeting those 2 gentlemen, that's now where I saw that, okay, agriculture can make you big and agriculture can actually move you, and that's when now interest started taking place. And then I also, through the college. So at Potchefstroom College of Agriculture, weekends you have to do hours. So that's when now you start looking at your enterprise, you start looking at where I'm interested in, and then that's where now I started to see, okay, piggery is something I don't like, layers is something I like, and now that's where the joy and understanding of agriculture actually started.
Very, very interesting, Lesego. So through your journey of agriculture, how has your family been a support system?
Immediately after I registered, I called my cousin Kilebukhile, and she's like, we're gonna finally have cows, we're securing the land, we're gonna be those people with burabus, but they made sure that they knew when I was writing. They made sure assignments were done. Even when I did not attend hours, they were like, why didn't you go? They knew the schedule of the college, they understood the schedule of the college, and they also even pushed me further to even, there were times when we used to drive to Mpumalanga just to attend agricultural meetings. We would drive all the way to Makhalis to do agricultural meetings, So it was not just at home we sitting, but they made sure we move. We Googled where there's going to be an interaction with farmers to let my name out there. So that was an amazing.
It really does take a village. So what kind of farming are you into?
I'm into crop farming, specifically vegetable farming.
Oh, nice. And what are the vegetables that you do farm?
We're farming under tomato, cucumber, carrots, onions. We also do cabbage, and then we also do green peppers.
So Lesego, you farm quite a few vegetables. You specialize in peppers, tomatoes, carrots, onions, and cabbage. What drew you to these specific crops, and are there any favorite ones that you enjoy farming?
So in the farm, we have our green peppers and our tomatoes. Those are our cash crops. Those crops allow for cash to flow in the farm. We use it to buy packaging, we use it to buy input, and then also the harvesting. Harvesting are done 4 times, others are done 6 times, just so that there's cash going on into the farm. And then you have our cabbage, that is our summer produce with a high value crop. And then we also have our onion and our carrots, that's for our autumn production. And it's very important to make sure that the farm runs the whole year through, not just because we are focusing on summer and winter, but it's also running through other seasons so that the farm can actually produce and the farm can actually be able to make money.
So your farm supplies produce to the Johannesburg market under the RSA Group. What was it like getting your produce to a large market like that for the first time? Were there any challenges or surprises along the way?
So what Bokang and I actually did is that we first harvested the extra large boxes. Then after harvesting the extra large boxes, we wanted to see what RSA wanted. We took the extra large boxes to RSA and then they told us they are happy. So we first wanted to see what is it that they want from us. And after seeing that they are happy and those were all sold out, that's when now we did the mixed boxes. But fortunately for us, we had no problems with RSA. Everything went smoothly. All our boxes have actually been sold out through RSA.
So from taking that leap of faith and going to RSA, you did mention Bokang. So tell us, who is Bokang and where did that relationship form in terms of the farming business?
So Bokang is a fellow peer that I met at Well Integrated Learning at the farm that we are currently farming at. We were actually paired together by Mr. Patrick when he was like, you two are students, you two are young, so work together. So we actually just put together, but he's also my business partner and he's also a good friend, and we are actually going through the journey of agriculture together.
So it just shows there truly is power in collaboration and just working together. I just want to touch a little bit on the learnership. So you did take part in a learnership. How did that contribute to your journey and where you are today?
Okay, so Potchefstroom College of Agriculture is a 3-year course. Then on your 3rd year, so the first 2 years is basically your practical and your theory, but then your 3rd year is your well integrated learning. So you need to find a farm where you're going to stay for 11 months and you're going to learn more about the enterprise in which you've chosen. So I started January. I actually started in the Eastern Cape, Upper Qulu in Kinsmahawk, under a man named Judah Agritech. He's a cabbage farmer. And when I entered the farm, I was like, I just want to be like this man, you know, the way he ran his business from the bottom to the way it is currently to the top. And it just brought in passion more in agriculture and a drive in agriculture. Unfortunately, I had to move from that farm and come closer, which was the farm that I was given through MJ, one of my friends. And when I entered the farm managers, owners, and directors were like, you know what, here's a tunnel, here's a piece of land, do with it what you can do. They were like, they're not here to babysit, they're not here to teach. They want to see my capabilities. Because I remember Mr. Johannes said, you need to understand, Lesego, there's a difference between passion and hard work. You can have passion for agriculture, you can Google agriculture, you can have posters on agriculture, but then the hard work, are you able to plow? Are you able to disc? Are you able to plant? Are you able to harvest? And then that's when now the difference came in through the well integrated learning. I was no more working for someone. I was working for myself. I was now planting to prove a point. I'm a first-time farmer also from the family. So it was also a huge milestone that, you know what, we've actually got this. And when Bokang and I met, we took charge and we made sure that the program ran smoothly to a point that we're also assisting other farmers in the area in planting and in harvesting.
So you mentioned something so powerful, saying that you realized you started working for yourself and not for anyone else by planting to prove a point. What made you and Bokang decide to take the leap and start your own business instead of working for someone else?
Mainly because the opportunity was there. I mean, we are producing, we're selling. So why don't we just start a business? But also the owners of the farm and the directors, they put us together. They pushed for it to take place. And it's something that I'm quite grateful to Mr. Mahola, Johannes and Patrick, that they made sure that we become the best of the best. And if it wasn't for them, I don't think even our first produce would have been a success.
It's so admirable that you are willing to take the risk on your way to success. So, being part of a program that combats food security in your area, it's a significant responsibility. So, how does it feel to contribute to such an important mission, and what impact do you hope to make?
It's amazing to know that you are part of combating food insecurity, but also it's very important to know that I'm not just combating food insecurity, but we are also helping with employment, because the area that we farm in, there's more females than there's males, because females are patient, they come, especially from the planting, the harvesting, and the packaging. Then the men that are there, it's usually for tractor, heavy lifting, irrigation, but we made sure that the system in the farm runs so smoothly to a point that the food that is being produced is of good quality, so that when we take it to the market, we can be proud of ourselves and say, this is what we're able to produce. And my biggest goal actually is to make sure that the people in the area that we are farming in, the community, is able to get access to vegetables first before we take them to the market. That is what we are trying to push. I know money comes first, but then we also need to be thankful to the community. We don't have theft problems. We don't have problems with disrespect. The community is there to assist us. Even sometimes when you feel like a tractor is not working, someone will come with a tractor and assist us in plowing and disking. So that would be one of my biggest goals.
It's so true that charity begins at home, and it's so beautiful just to hear that the community chimes in and supports you guys, because you seldomly hear that, But through creating a balanced and inclusive workforce, it's essential for growth, and we know that. Why was this approach important, and how have you seen it benefit both the farm and the community?
As I stated earlier, more women, less men. But I know sometimes someone will say women bring drama and gossips, but each and everyone knows their role, and we respect each other's roles. We don't undermine anyone's role, and I think that also brought in the ability to produce more, the ability to have an amazing produce, and the fact that there is a balance in the workforce. I mean, when you're not at work, someone is already doing your work. You don't need to be stressed at home and wondering who's going to assist you with so on. And for the farm, it became a positive impact, knowing that this farm can actually run for a day without the director being there or the manager being there. Maybe they're in meetings. So it's a good work balance that we came up with.
So you have mentioned some incredible mentors like Mr. Motiba, Mr. Moholi, and even your lecturer, Mrs. Mogotsi, who made you fall in love with agriculture. What is the best piece of advice you've received from them that still guides you today?
Mr. Motiba, when I entered the farm, he was like, soldier on. Forget the nails, forget everything, like soldier on. But Mr. Makola's advice that he gave me is my circle. The circle that you have, make sure it operates smoothly, because in agriculture you cannot make it alive when you're an island. Make sure that your circle, you understand each other, fix the quarrels if you have, because we need each other. Sometimes I could have a problem with you and my tractor stuck the next day. I can't approach you. That time you're just 2 kilometers away from me. I now need to drive into town to just look for a tractor. And Mrs. Mogotsi's advice was that Respect will take you very far in any industry, and conducting yourself in a well-fashionedly ordered way will also help you.
Clearly, we can take that we shouldn't burn our bridges, because we can always need someone's help again. So, sound advice. Farming is full of trial and error. You've mentioned how having space to experiment helped you grow. So, can you share a moment when something didn't go as planned and you had to overcome it?
So last year we bought seedlings. All of a sudden we have a water problem. The pump was stolen. And then we had to come up with an idea to use watering cans. Remember, the beds are already made, the seedlings are already here. So we used watering cans. And then later on, we had a problem with the tractor. So now we had to use manual labor, and it's also not good for the bag, But we had to do what we had to do so that we are able to have produce. Because sometimes people need to understand that you can have everything. You can have water, you can have land, you can have the capital. But are you willing to actually go and do something?
What kind of support do you need as a young farmer?
I don't want to lie to you. Bokang and I are so fortunate to a point that we get full support. I think our only struggle would maybe be 2 or 3 herbicides are not in the container, but we get full support. We buy our own seedlings, but chemicals and everything, we get support on that. Sorry about that. We also get support on the tractor. I mean, we don't even need to rent a tractor. We get support on irrigation. Even yesterday, we got support to a point that we got the virtual irrigation academy. They came, they installed it in the tunnel. So we get a lot of support, fortunately for us.
So talk us through your land. How big is the space that you are farming on? Would you consider yourself a small-scale farmer or a large-scale farmer?
So currently we are farming under 1 tunnel and then under 1 hectare. And we are taking all our produce to the market. So I would say we are commercial farmers, just that we are emerging commercial farmers, let me put it that way. All our produce is of good quality and yield, and the taste also is very good. And we also take pride in actually proud of ourselves that we have such a small amount of space, but we can actually make money out of it. I think that's the advantage of vegetable farming compared to livestock farming.
So you mentioned that your goal is to expand your farm by 2 hectares this year for cabbage production. What excites you the most about this expansion, and what are your long-term dreams for your farm? So essentially, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Honestly speaking, the expansion is quite nerve-wracking because we've never actually farmed in a big piece of space, but it's going to be amazing. And we're also very calm because of the community we work with. The people who are behind us, they're going to make sure that this produce goes out very well. And also for the next 5 years, I hope to own a farm with 60 tunnels and 38 hectares. Tunnels would obviously be your green peppers and your tomatoes, and then outside would be your cabbage, your butternut. Yeah.
They do say a dream is not a dream unless it scares you, and because these dreams are so big, you can turn these dreams into reality. So I support you all the way, girl. So looking back on your journey from studying to becoming a business owner, what advice would you give to young people who might be interested in farming but just don't know where to start?
The advice that I would give is chew your meat and throw out your bones. Rather take in the good information. Anything that is negative, throw it out. Go to people, get information, try to, educate yourself, especially before you start something. Educate yourself. Speak to someone who's actually done it before, and then they'll tell you that, for me it didn't work because I did 1, 2, 3 wrong. For you it will work because now I'm telling you, don't go through that route. But I would say to young emerging farmers, put yourselves out there. If you know, apparently in your community, one of the top farmers is coming, please go. Even if you have your last 20 rand, please go. Introduce yourself to that person. Take that person's number. And once you do that, it's going to change a lot of things for you. Because I remember at Afasa, Me Ipileng, one of the cattle farmers, was like, she held my hand and she's like, you know what, I like you. You're able to introduce yourself. She introduced me to Ntate Naptali. She introduced me to Mr. Apani, who was the head of FASA at that time. I think he still is, if I'm not mistaken. But introduce yourself. Take yourself out there. Because if you're going to just sit at home, you are planting, yes, how are we going to identify you? I mean, it's the same as this platform. You identified us through social media. So it's also very important to showcase your product.
So we know the world of farming is consistently evolving with new technologies and techniques. Are there any innovations or farming methods that you've recently adopted or are excited to use in the future?
Definitely drone technology, hey? Because of the spraying, they're able to identify pests and diseases. But I also love the fact that they can shoot pods into the ground, and those pods can actually assist with seedlings. And not only that, but we also started now with the virtual irrigation academy, where now they can test the soil moisture for us. Instead of us over irrigating, we can now actually know if our soil is happy or our soil is actually not going through good conditions when it comes to water.
So how do you stay informed about the latest trends and best practices in farming?
Afgri, attending short courses in Africa is very important. Secondly, magazines, podcasts, attending province and community workshops. That is very important, especially community workshops, because sometimes we do not know for certainty crops. Some crops cannot grow in certain areas, and you want to go and put potato in that area. It's very important to attend workshops, and also communication. Communicate, reach out to farmers. Farmers are actually friendly people. They don't care whether you've been farming for 10 or 20 years. They are just there to assist.
So we know laughter is the best medicine. So please, can you share a funny moment of anything that happened on the farm?
So for me, because I came from a college and then now I'm at a farm, I used to fall a lot at the farm. I used to slide, and the first day, imagine the first day, hi, this is Lesego, she'll be working here, boom. I used to fall. And I think also it's because I was nervous, but I used to fall. And I remember Brajo was like, Joe, go home. I was like, no. I used to fall a lot. But then I got the hang of it. And I think from there, there was a month where I didn't fall. My head was so high. I was like, this month I'm not falling, But yeah, those was one of our funniest moments.
So how can our audience support you and connect with you? Please do drop your social media handles and different ways in which they can contact you.
So LinkedIn, I'm Lesego Mohube. And then Instagram, I'm _Lesego. And then Facebook, I don't have. And then Twitter, it's Lesego Mohube.
Lesego, thank you so much for the time you took to come and join us on the podcast today. I know you shared some great insights that our audience is just going to take and run with. So thank you so much, and wishing you all the best in your journey.
Thank you very much.
And to our audience on Young Farmer, thank you for joining us for another exciting episode. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and follow us on all social media platforms on Young Farmer. Tell your friends and family about us. I'm Tashlin Lowe, and until the next episode, bye.